So, hello everybody, and welcome again to another interview. Today we've got Lilian with us. Welcome, Lilian.
Thank you, Marek, for giving me this opportunity to participate in this interview. I'm happy to be here.
It's great to have you here, and I'm really happy to be talking to you. And Lilian is doing a PhD in theological ethics at KU Leuven, the Catholic University of Leuven. And she's recently submitted her first paper after about 2 weeks of working together. So we're gonna really dive into what Lilian has done, and how she's managed to achieve that, to submit the paper within the last two or 3 weeks. So really, you're going to get also a lot of valuable tips and suggestions from Lilian on how to yourself you can also achieve something similar. So thanks again for agreeing to do this, Lilian. And let's I said briefly that you're doing a PhD in theology and in ethics, but can you tell us a little bit more about your PhD and specifically what you're researching?
Yeah, I am just beginning the third year of my doctoral program, and I'm researching on how Marshall Rosenberg's principles of nonviolent communication and Catholic social teachings on peace and justice can support peace building in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, we have a lot of violent conflicts, and there are several approaches that are being used in responding to that conflict. Approaches like non-violence, interreligious dialogue, and peace education. So I feel that these approaches are not really enough. We need to support them with the rich tradition of the Catholic social teachings on peace and justice, and also the practical approach of Marshall Rosenberg that provides skills for dialogue and the tools each person can embody to actually be able to dialogue and also enhance empathy and peaceful coexistence.
Mm-hmm. Great. So, what are you hoping that, publishing papers and finishing your PhD might help to, to achieve or bring about?
Yeah, as part of my academic journey, I'm really passionate about contributing to knowledge and also by maybe engaging in publishing and also teaching students. So I believe when I'm able to publish, I'll be able to enrich a wider audience with my ideas, and being able to do my PhD will also give me the opportunity to reach out to people, especially students in the classroom. Mm-hmm. So I think publishing is really necessary for this journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So, can you tell us then a little bit more about, where you were before you decided to join the program? I think you kind of joined it like a month ago, if I'm not mistaken, or about 3 weeks ago. So yeah, what were, some of the challenges, or what was your situation before you joined the program?
I actually joined the program at the beginning of this month, September. It's not yet up to 1 month. Before I joined the program, I was really having some difficulties in writing because I really work hard, which people testify to that, oh, you work hard, but at the same time, I was achieving less because I didn't really have much skills in writing. I came in contact with this program on Facebook. After reading through it, I said, wow, this is interesting, but I didn't have the courage to register for it because I wasn't really sure of what I'm going to achieve from it. Then after free online lecture, I really felt confident that, yes, I think this is what I need to move on in my academic journey. So before I joined the program, the difficulties I was encountering are being able to really communicate my ideas, because I really come across a lot of writings, I get ideas, but to communicate it, systematize them, and put them into writing was a very big problem. And also being able to organize my work in paragraphs. Sometimes they will be too long. I have long paragraphs and full of repetition and all the stuff. And also how to use linking words in a paragraph was also a problem. And using correct academic language too. And sometimes I can really have a lot of pages and so on. I think that have to do with being precise. I wasn't really being able to be precise in presenting my ideas. So these are some of the difficulties I was having before I joined this program.
Mm-hmm. All right, got it. So, when you joined, like, what did we do together to, to help you overcome these problems? Like, what was the process for you?
When I showed interest that I want to join the program, we had one-on-one session, and during the course of our discussion, I really have that connection. It was like a kind of empathic session that you were able to step into my space to understand my needs. And I had the confidence that I would get the support I need from you. So you explained the program to me, and eventually we discussed the terms and I had access to the program. And I noticed that the program is going to be really very helpful for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So once you've joined that, like, what was the process for you, or what kind of things did we do together to help you achieve your goals and overcome these problems that you told us about?
Okay, when I joined the program, you told me there will be one-on-one session. I had the opportunity of presenting my writings for also one-on-one accompaniment, and there will be question and answer sessions. If I have maybe questions from the program, I can always bring them to the session. And so that first day I participated in the one-on-one session and saw how people brought questions, and I also asked some questions and I learned from them. Then an article I have been writing for some months now I was almost becoming frustrated in going on with it. I also brought it to your notice and you looked at it and you pointed out some things there that I need to work on, and showed me the links to some of your lectures that I can listen to and know how to correct the issues you raised with regards to my writing. So this was really very helpful for me. We did the first few pages, you look at them, then I went to the links, listened to the lectures, effected the corrections, and from there we were able to progress. That was really how I discovered that some of the difficulties I was having in doing the work were resolved. So we looked at the work together. Through your direction, I was able to do the do what is necessary to improve the work. And eventually, we were able to arrive at something reasonable. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, probably more than reasonable, because you've just submitted that paper in about 3 weeks of working together. So congratulations. That's a really good achievement. You've worked very hard for it. And for people who perhaps are also struggling, as PhD students to write a research paper and submit it. Like, what for you were some of the biggest lessons that you've perhaps learned that you could share with people to give them some advice?
Yes, the biggest lessons I have learned through this lecture is that, first of all, writing is a skill, and it is not something that is limited to those who are native speakers of English. Anybody can write, provided you learn the skills of writing. And it's for me, and the slogan that publish or perish is get method when one comes in contact with your work. Instead of publish or perish, it becomes publish and flourish. So what I have for PhD students is that acquiring writing skills is very important, and writing is not something one should be afraid of.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned yourself that as you were kind of revising that paper before joining the program, you were kind of becoming frustrated with it. Well, why do you think, and I've heard this from other PhD students, why do you think, where this frustration comes from?
Yeah, the frustration was coming from the fact that I've done 2 years of my PhD program and I've not been able to publish in an international journal. And this is a 4-year program entering into the 3rd year, yet I just found myself that I'm not making the type of progress I would love to make. And also, yeah, I think the frustration was coming from there, and the how to really acquire the skills of writing was also frustrating for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how was, because you'd been working on your PhD for 3 years and on that paper for a while as well. So how was it, like, what we did, different from, what you had been doing before, or from the feedback that you were receiving, that it actually helped you?
I think what I see different is this one-on-one accompaniment, and also you have lectures on all these things that you were referring me to, and other students too, that, oh, when you say, oh, this is not what it's supposed to be, you have a link to that, and the person go there, listen and learn from it. Even if the person did not understand, the person can still have opportunity to ask you questions, and also your availability to do that.
Right. Great. So, just to kind of, finish us off. So, you went from, being frustrated writing that first paper to submitting it in 3 weeks. So what would you say to people perhaps listening to this video who are not familiar with me and with academic English now and the work that I do? What would you say to them?
My words to such people is that they should not be discouraged. They should consider undergoing this training to support their academic writing. because at this moment, I'm really confident that I can write more. And I believe if they are able to join this program, they will also get that support to help them in their writing, because sometimes it's really, really difficult to accompany students, and we need this other support to also develop ourselves and be able to present our research results. So I encourage them to really make efforts to participate in this program, irrespective of maybe whatsoever may be the constraints, that they really have a lot to gain from it.
All right, that's great. And for me, I mean, like, one thing is amazing to see you submit that first paper, but I think, what makes me as a, as a teacher the happiest, I think, is to see you actually confident again and happy and believing that, this is just the first paper, but we're now working on the second one, and there might be more, and that you're starting to feel like, yeah, in the future I'll actually be writing research papers myself. So that's great. That's amazing.